What's up? This is MC Lars. You are listening to Journey into Comics. You!
And here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Journey into Comics, a podcast about comic books, video games, movies, television, and everything nerd with your hosts, Nate Phillips and Brandon Stone.
You're gonna see some serious shit.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 112 of Journey into Comics. I'm your host, Nate, today, as always, joined by my Qui-Gon Jinn to my Obi-Wan. Brando, how you doing?
Doing just fine. How you been, man?
No, really good. We were kind of catching up a little bit off air here, and we figured we'd just, decide to bullshit on the air. So, I'm just, like I said, I'm doing good. See the home stretch on Dad's house, and that's a relief. It's been a long, continuous summer putting 200 plus miles a day on my body, driving in a car, and also working. But it's going to look fucking awesome, and that's what I think I'm most excited for, is just to see the end product of what I envisioned. So, how are you, though, my friend?
Doing just fine. Working, more working. And that's about it, really. Gonna just being a dad, doing my thing.
Maybe this is a YouTube spoiler, but do you have any game pickups that are recent or game addict spoiler too? Geez, there's like so many different landmine possibilities for spoilers.
Not since last week. I picked up Dragon Warrior, and I picked up Beast Wars on PS1. I did pick up the new WWE game.
Haven't played it yet.
I played a little bit of it, yes.
Let's review that on our other show.
Which other show? Okay, yeah. I was going to say, which one? It kind of encompasses two.
It could technically encompass all three of the four.
A little bit.
Shit, that's kind of awesome. That's really... I want to get 2K17, but I digress. Brando, today we got a lot of different topics on a lot of different things. But to start, I just... I heard something, okay? And I need to set this up for our listeners and for you to kind of understand, and maybe my stories are a little bit long, but I digress. So we had a band meeting on Monday, and anytime we have rehearsal or practice or whatever, our bass player, Rob, brings his kid, Cash, to hang out, and he usually just, watches TV in the living room. He's old enough, he does his homework, and he just hangs out, and he, he likes the music and whatnot, so that doesn't matter. So he's over, and I'm like, hey, man, what do you want to watch? And he's like, oh, I already finished Legends of Tomorrow, I already finished The Flash, I've already finished Arrow, blah, 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 all the stuff that, I've already finished it. And I was like, do you want to watch, a movie or something? And he's like, sure, I'll watch a movie, you can put whatever on. And I was like, all right, I'll put on the new Ghostbusters, just, for my own agenda, kind of, but I didn't really say anything. So the movie's pretty much done at the end of practice, and this is where, Brando, I think we might be the bad guys, and let me put this in a nice little package for you. Cash looks at me, and he goes, man, this movie's freaking awesome. It's probably better than the one with the dudes. And I still haven't seen the new Ghostbusters, by the way. I should preface that. I still myself haven't seen this, and this is the first review I'm getting of the movie that's not from, a movie critic. It's from a kid. A kid who's 9 years old. A kid who's 9 years old makes me think about when I was a 9-year-old kid and what movies came out. And I'm looking at Batman Forever, and I'm looking at, in the era of Batman Returns and all these other, different types of movies that maybe the critics didn't love, but were revered as kids or from kids. So my question is, to me in my head now, I can't stop thinking about 21 or 22-year-old Cash talking about the nostalgic feeling of watching Melissa McCarthy's Ghostbusters, and how much he loved it and how much the critics shit on it. And it's just exactly what we did as kids. We loved these movies the critics thought were awful. And maybe it's not about us, the adult fan, anymore. And maybe we should turn ourselves into being less critical of what's in the market Because while, yes, to me, I want a Ghostbusters that's geared towards what fucking Nate likes, you know? I want a Ghostbusters that's dark and edgy. I don't care if it's guys or girls, whatever. I just want it to be good, is ultimately the end goal here. And also, the same thing could be said with the new Ninja Turtles. I'm sure that if I showed Ninja Turtles, the new one, to Cash, he would love it. He'd flip the fuck out and say all kinds of great stuff. And I would probably trash that movie. And I think that in this realization of seeing Cash so elated over a movie that I had heard such garbage about, kind of made me step back and reflect on me as a kid. And Brando, I want to get your thoughts on this now. What do you think? Am I onto something here?
Well, my first thought was you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Damn. Truth.
The other part of it is that, you know, it's almost like when you look back on something and when you're older and you go, oh, stuff was better back in the 90s. And to an extent, yeah, sure. I can agree and I can disagree on certain other things as well. However, when it comes to like a younger kid watching a movie nowadays, he's not as trained into what good filmmaking is. And we weren't either back in the 90s. I mean, I've gone back and I've said Batman Forever sucks. That's because as an adult, I have a better eye for what is quality film. Granted, I like my own fair share of bad films. So it's like, I'm one to talk by saying Batman Forever sucks. It's just not the Batman I want to watch. That doesn't mean that I'm wrong or bad for saying that this Ghostbusters is not the Ghostbusters I want to watch. It isn't. It has nothing to do with setting or, you know, the cast. It's the fact that, by and large, the story of this movie sucks. So, after hearing more about it, I have decided not to spend my money and to boycott Ghostbusters.
So now, on the flip side, you have somebody who has given you a review of this film?
Yes.
Go on.
I mean, I was talking to a guy at work. He saw it, and he said he was going pretty much all right with the movie. It wasn't great. It wasn't terrible. There was parts about it that he really didn't like, but then the ending killed it for him, and he told me the ending, and I said, nah. No, thank you.
All right, so I haven't invested the 2 hours and 13 minutes into the new Ghostbusters. I haven't, okay? I'm just saying I have not done that yet. You know, for shits and giggles, I gotta know, what's the ending, Brando? Like, spoiler alert, by the way. Hey, we're spoiling Ghostbusters right now. If you don't want to be spoiled on this Ghostbusters shit, probably like fast forward maybe 5 minutes, and if we're still using the words like Ghostbusters, Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Wiig, shit like that, just keep forwarding. And I'm sorry, or don't give a fuck and be spoiled too with us. Brando, go on.
Okay, so please let me preface, I have not watched the movie. Okay, my interest in the movie was pretty slim and none from the get-go. I wasn't interested in any of the trailers. Honestly, I wasn't interested in a reboot of it. It was just like, if you come with me tomorrow and said, hey, I just saw the trailer for the new reboot of Back to the Future, I'm going to say, nope. I don't want to see it. I don't care. There are certain things that, to me, just they don't really need remade. They don't need rebooted. And I thought Ghostbusters was one of them. That's personal opinion. So I haven't seen it. So if what this guy told me is completely false and I am lying my ass off right now, don't hate the player, hate the game. Okay.
See, and just in you saying that, now I've got to fucking watch it, but I still want to know the ending.
All right. So I'm gonna tell it to you exactly how he told it to me.
Sure.
What broke this movie for him? He goes, Brando, you remember how the first movie ended? How they had to defeat like the bad guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, what was that move?
Crossing the streams.
Crossing the streams. He goes, so do you think they played off that and did that again? I'm like, I don't know. He was like, you know what they did? Because so the big baddie is like almost like the ghost from the Ghostbuster symbol knockoff of Stay Puft, right?
Okay.
Like, yeah, all right. He goes, you know how they beat that guy? I said, no. He goes, they shoot him in the balls. And I'm just like, really? They went there? He goes, yeah. He goes, it wasn't. He goes, it was. It was slapstick ball humor, and like, oh wow. I'm like, never mind. I really don't care to see it. He goes, yeah, it really took me out of it. I'm like, I can see that. So if that is true, and I trust this guy, I trust him. But I mean, again, I wasn't interested in seeing the movie in the first place. The and the fact that the punchline is slapstick, it's just it. I understand it's a movie for today's culture, but still, it's like okay. I watched the new Dumb and Dumber.
Dumb and Dumber
Oh,
TOO.
yes.
Okay.
Well, maybe you were shut down. We watched that. Have you watched that, Nate?
No, didn't really have interest in seeing it.
Okay. Well, it won't ruin the first one for you
Okay, well that's a little bit of a positive thing because I really
because
liked the first one.
I mean I do too. It's not the first one. Okay. It's a good sequel where it the the best description of the first movie is that it's dumb and it's stupid humor.
Yep.
So the second one is dumb and it's stupid humor, but it really doesn't do a whole lot of like what you consider today humor. It's like the humor that was in the first one,
Oh, that's kind of awesome.
So it's like it feels sort of like it belongs. Now, I understand it was a sequel, not a reboot. I get that. I'm not saying the new Ghostbusters has to be the old Ghostbusters. I'm just saying that from what it sounds like, the newer style of comedy, and this is me personally, I don't like it. You know, I don't like that genre compared to the old style comedy. I really liked that 1980s Harold Ramis, the Stripes, Caddyshack, Ghostbusters. I liked that stuff. Blues Brothers. I mean, I understand it's a flavor. It's like that's almost like people who don't like pineapple on their pizza. I happen to like pineapple on my pizza. You're not wrong for not liking pineapple on your pizza. I understand it's a little bit off. It's like, why the heck are you putting something that sweet and heating it up and putting it on a pizza? It's like,
'Cause
well,
it's goddamn delicious. That's why.
it's delicious, and I understand it. If somebody comes up to me and tells me, Brando, I love the new Ghostbusters, I'm gonna say I am happy for you. I still don't want to see it because that's 2 hours that I'm never going to be able to get back from my life.
Nope.
And so, do I think we're the bad guys? Not necessarily. I try not to be too overly condemning towards movies. But I mean, if I see a pile of crap, I'll tell you. I mean, I've seen some pretty crap movies. Would I recommend Dumb and Dumber 2 for like, Nate, you have to go see that now? No. But I mean, if it's something that you all have already enjoyed in the past, go for it. It won't necessarily disappoint you. It's not going to blow you out of the water. Eh, you know, tit
Yeah.
for tat.
Well, man, you have helped me to kind of see this that you're right. We're not the bad guys here. It's just all about everybody's different taste and flavor and what they like as far as reboots are concerned. Personally for me, I like new original ideas, and if they do a reboot and it pays, if it's like a spiritual successor reboot, a handing down of the torch, a changing of the guard, it's not ignoring the past while not thinking the future is gonna outdo that or anything. I don't know. I look to what's a good example of this? There was just a reboot that just did this. Independence Day actually. It was a spiritual successor. It was a sequel, but it was also a way to reboot their series, and they did it tastefully and handed the guard down to new characters, and I thought it was good. Uh, but like I said, I like original ideas, and I want to say couple months ago, longer than a couple months ago, Brando, you'll have to fact check. I don't know when the hell time is. We had Justin and George, the creators of Speak No Evil, on our podcast. Do you remember that?
I do. I want to say it was in April.
Okay, awesome. So
I want to. I want to say that I walked. That I walked. That I went up to your neck of the woods, and that was one of the first podcasts that I was ever at your house for, that we've like intentionally Skyped with other people.
Oh
So
yeah.
in a weird way, it's like we were together Skyping with somebody else. It's like we were in like a studio setting almost.
So those guys, I'm also looking for where the hell my email button is because I gotta play a thing from these guys. But before I get to that, while I'm sitting here aimlessly looking for Gmail, where are you? Utilities, I bet. So unprofessional, and I don't even give a damn right now, Brando. That's how it is. So, anyways, these guys came on our show and kickstarted, or talked about their Kickstarter, which was for Speak No Evil #1. And with Speak No Evil #1, they were successfully funded, and I got the book. And did I send you a picture? I sent the group a picture, right, with the book.
I think so. Yeah.
So let me tell you, man, this was really interesting and bizarre. And there's a couple other reviews that are going to kind of come out of this too, and it all kind of ties in together. So their Kickstarter for Speak No Evil #1 gets to my house, and not gonna lie, there was a little bit of damage on the comic, but I'm not gonna hate. I understand it wasn't their fault. I know how I deal with the USPS every day of my life, so I know this shit sometimes just gets fucked up. So it doesn't matter. I go and I want to read this book ASAP, and I got into it. And do you know when you run really long, like for you a really long time, like for me a really long time, which is really probably for some people not a really long time. So I just want to I just want to preface that, like, this is maybe like 500 feet, not like a mile. But you know when you run to something and then like you're like, fuck, it's so hot out and I can't wait to have a sip of my beverage, and then you go and you grab your beverage and there's just like a swig left, and you're just like, oh, I need more of this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it wet your whistle, but it's not enough. That is issue 1 of Speak No Evil. They set it all up beautifully. They give you all the pieces. You start to kind of understand how things are going to play out, and then the issue's over. And you're just like, yep, I want more of that. I need to actually have like a lot more of this comic in my life. Well, luckily for us, they are in the process right now, I want to say, and they're going to tell us about it here in a second. They are getting ready to launch their Kickstarter, and we've been trying to get them on, and scheduling's kind of wonky right now. Hopefully maybe something can come through and we can kind of get those guys on to maybe dive a little deeper and get them to slip and tell me some things about the book that I want to know. Also, side note, I also got Todd Black's Home issue #3. He was also successfully funded. So we're
Yes, he was.
So we're 3 for 3 now on our podcast.
Woo!
Black Suit of Death, Speak No Evil, and Home have all successfully been funded. Interestingly enough, crossover city here. The creator of Black Suit of Death, Ben Krieger, was the letterer on Speak No Evil with Justin and George. Justin and George have a podcast called The Comical Podcast. We're available, guys, just saying. But they had Todd Black on, and his book got funded. And then it's all kind of full circle now because they're on their second Kickstarter. Todd, I think, in a couple weeks is about to announce his 4th Home Kickstarter. And man, it's really cool when these things go well, you know?
It is, and there's definitely a lot of support from the homegrown, homemade comic community. I mean, they really reach out. They really, want to help each other make their visions come true. And hopefully, I mean, it's always the hope that maybe your vision gets to be on a little bit of a bigger stage one day. But for the time being, it's like, you know what, these guys are doing their thing. They're making their comics, and they're happy. And a lot of these guys are helping each other out, making sure that their stuff goes through and that these comics are created. And it's awesome. And I'm so glad that we've been able to be a part of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me say, uh, overall, now I have not yet been able to read Home because I don't have issues 1 and 2 easily at my disposal. They're in my email somewhere, and I have not fished them out because I get thousands of emails, and it sucks. So, Todd, I'm going to get you, dude. Don't worry about it. You're coming on the show soon, anyways. But I just wanted to say that Speak No Evil issue number 1, I will give easily a 3.75. I like where they're going. I love the art style. I love the way that Justin and George write this book is just, it's a little bit, it's not different. Like, it's not like, oh my God, they changed the formula of comics. But I just connect a lot easier with these characters by how they speak, by how they act. And I'm really looking forward to Kickstarter number 2. And now, without further ado, Brandon, did you have anything to add to the Speak No Evil Kickstarter thing other than what we had already said?
No, but did you say you were gonna play the promo?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and play that now for our audience and let them take a relaxing break from our voices. If it'll play.
Hey guys, this is Justin and George from Gray Bear Comics. Thanks for giving us a minute of your time. We're here to talk to you about our Kickstarter for Speak No Evil issue number 2. Speak No Evil is the story of two brothers in the 1930s that find a cabin in the woods that used to be used by H.P. Lovecraft and Nikola Tesla for all kinds of weird experiments. The boys find the cabin, start playing with the equipment inside, and accidentally open a portal to another dimension. Then a whole bunch of monsters come through, and instead of doing the right thing and trying to shut it down, they figure out a way to make money off the situation. They start going from town to town saying, hey guys, we realize you have a monster problem. We can help you solve it, but you gotta pay us first. It's very much a horror comedy and a labor of love that George and I have worked on. We funded issue 1 on Kickstarter back in April, and now we're running the Kickstarter for issue number 2.
And that's where you come in. For issue 2 of Speak No Evil, we up the ante on everything. There's more fun, violence, and action. We have some great rewards in our Kickstarter, where you can hear behind-the-scenes podcasts, get original art, or even have yourself drawn as a character for issue 3. To find our project, go to Kickstarter.com and search Speak No Evil. For more information, go to GrayBearComics.com or find us on all our social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Gray Bear Comics. That's Gray. Every little bit helps, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. We really appreciate it.
All right. And thanks, Justin and George, again for coming on to Journey into Comics. And then thanks for a great first issue of your book. So let's move forward, Brando. I will say, like I said, I mentioned all the little Kickstarters we've had going on. On the flip side, our good friend Seek Donley has started a GoFundMe. He had some family complications happen. His brother was attacked. His mother got in a car accident. And, he's just doing everything he can to keep his whole family afloat right now. And he started a GoFundMe. And I know they're doing really well on their goal right now. But I just wanted to mention real quick, guys, we're going to put that link in the description of this episode. That way you guys can go give $5, give $1, give $50, give $1,000. It doesn't matter. Whatever you can do, it's going to help Zeke out. He's a great dude. We miss having him on the show. Hopefully we can get him up here again sometime in the near future. Again, it's our homeboy Zeke, and we got to do what we can. But moving forward, Brando, did you read Walking Dead 159?
I sure did.
Now, let me ask you. Most shocking issue of The Walking Dead ever, maybe?
This one? Nah.
Really?
Nah.
I mean, there's no way you were expecting how everything went down.
Well, I mean, it kept it unpredictable to an extent, but I mean, most shocking? No. That's not the most shocked I've ever been in this, that I've ever been reading this comic.
I don't know. I mean, we're just going to have to just kind of break it down, Brando, to get into this. Walking Dead 159 spoilers, by the way. We're midway through the Whisperer War. At the end of 158, Beta seemed to be pretty fucked in a fucking tight fuckity spot, in the words of Negan. And, you could almost guarantee that at 159, some skulls were getting cracked open. And, this whole time we've been in the Walking Dead universe, on the other side of the time jump, there has been one, I don't know the perfect word for this, one unification that hasn't happened, that has been something that I've just been waiting for and clamoring for and been hoping for issue after issue after issue, as we have learned to trust Negan. And we've learned that he's trying to be on Rick's side, at least for now, and still trusting him from afar, if you will. But I wanted to see Negan get Lucille back. Page 2 of this book right away. Boom. I'm pretty sure Dwight throws Lucille to Negan, who is got Beta on the ground, kneeling position. It's Glenn all over. I'm so stoked because this time it's going to happen to somebody I can't fucking stand. And what do they do but kill Lucille? Are you kidding me, bro?
Yeah, man, she shattered. She splintered. She broke.
It was like fucking heartbreaking, man. For real. I was just like, no, you can't do that. Why would you do that, Kirkman? So then it was just like it was the most brilliant move that Robert Kirkman could have made, I think, because it was like he gave you what everybody wanted. Here, Negan has Lucille again. Cool, there's this great reunion. And then as soon as he did that, he was like, nah, fuck you guys, and took it away. And didn't just like kind of take it away. Someone else doesn't have Lucille. Nope. Broke it. The fucking barbed wire came off. There's little pieces of Glenn still on that barbed wire. You know what I'm saying?
No, I mean, it's really brilliant because what it does is that kind of takes the wind out of Negan's sail a little bit. I mean, the fact that Lucille has been so iconic with Negan, and now like Negan has been without for so long, and he's very capable without, but now he is without, and it literally kind of deflated him.
It crushed him.
Oh yeah, like there were tears in his eyes.
Well, I mean, with that, you got to think over anything else. The one thing, I mean, you think when Negan first appears that it's just his charisma, and he's just gallivanting about talking about how Lucille needs to drink and all this stuff and blah blah blah, and she's whatever, and talking about Lucille as a person. But then in this moment, you see that to Negan, Lucille was a fucking person. Like, it not actually a person, but in his head, he had that connection to that bat. I haven't been able to read Here's Negan yet, the 12-issue mini-series that's in Image Plus. But when I do get to read it, it's going to probably uncover a lot. But right now, in the Walking Dead universe that I know, I don't know what Lucille is to Negan. I don't know why that's so important to him. What has him so heartbroken? It's not just a bat. There's a story behind that that's way more fucking important than the baseball bat itself.
Indeed.
So, this issue kind of moved around a bunch. A lot of different little things. Doesn't seem like this war is going to go by so easy. Also, I want to just say this. Veronica and I had this conversation. In one of the panels in 159, it looked like to me Jesus got bit.
I thought the same thing.
I was so certain of it, dude. And is it deceiving? Are we deceived there? Or is that something we're supposed to have picked up on that maybe gets resolved next issue? But
it also may have been like a artist oversight where since they're trying to fit so many panels in this story that sometimes they have to squeeze in some of the smaller panels for the action, and it actually looked like the walker. It didn't look like he bit him, but the mouth was right behind the arm. So maybe we're led to believe that it was close, but no cigar. Maybe there will be a mention of it here soon, and that he did get bit. You would think that at this point, if one of these guys gets bit, especially if it's in the arm, they're going to let somebody know.
Yeah, and they're gonna amputate that shit. It's like common procedure.
Well, I mean, this isn't their first foray into the zombie universe, and like into the Walkerverse. This is stuff that they dealt with like 100 issues ago, and it's been a long time since you've had a surprise bite, and then like people are afraid to tell somebody or anything like that, or they don't want to let somebody know that they're infected. That hasn't been this. Their society is more built upon rules now. It's like they can't endanger their communities, and I don't think Jesus would do that.
True. I mean, I agree with you. Jesus is not the kind of person that's going to selfishly just like, kind of like the show, be like Bob, and hide it. Tainted meat. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That shit was so good. 159, man, I liked it. It was a great issue of that book. Things are moving forward. I don't know how this Whisper War is going to end, but they were not lying when at the end of book 1 they said, the people that are on the final page of that 16-panel spread are not going to be the same by the end of this Whisper War. And right now, Negan is definitely not the same. Big changes coming. And maybe this signifies his change to a full good guy. Maybe Lucille was the last piece of him that was that darkness that, Rick kind of feared. And if she's gone, and he knows that, you can't return power to him, maybe this will be Negan's, face turn, if you will.
It could be. I really get the feeling that, before I wasn't so sure, but I'm getting the feeling that he respects the hell out of Rick. We already know that, but he wants Rick to trust him.
Desperately.
I think in a way he really appreciates that Rick defeated him and humbled him and let him live, whereas he doesn't think that he would do the same, And I think in a really weird way that after everything Negan had done, that Rick's mercy may have changed something in Negan, especially being locked up all that time to reflect.
2 fucking years to sit there pretty much to yourself, only talking to the Grimes, I mean, that sounded a lot worse after I said it. I was just thinking Rick and Carl, the easiest way to sum them up is the Grimes.
The Grimes.
Damn. Yeah. So I would say this book, this issue, if I were to give it some sort of number rating, solid 4 for sure. A lot of twists, a lot of turns. It's kept me very interested.
A lot of action. I mean, we saw the scene near the end where our heroes, the group, they sort of like spread the herd a little bit, and I liked where Dwight spotted the Whisperer within the herd, shot him with the crossbow, and then they drug him off, and then now he's wearing his skin.
Yeah, it's fucking on. 'Cause now, and I was wondering when this was gonna happen. Like, isn't there just a fucking point where you brain one of these motherfuckers and take over as a Whisperer, and no one would know the fucking difference? And here we are, and they have done the thing, And I'm just like, yeah, that's what's up. So Brando, I gotta ask. We are, we're inching. What is today? The 13th. Wow.
Today is the 12th.
The 12th. We're 11 days from the Walking Dead Season 7 premiere. 11 days from Glenn's ultimate destruction. 11 days until we get to see mostly a season of Negan being fucking awesome, because he is. But I gotta ask, man, right out the gate, could you throw me like 3 or 4 predictions? What do you think's gonna happen this season? I mean,
oh man,
maybe using the comic books as a guide, maybe you can make your own little deviation. I know you do have good brain power when it comes to writing storylines.
We'll see. I mean, honestly, before I can really make a prediction, I think we need to talk about some of the rumors coming out of um, that clip that kind of came out recently, and how people are thinking that maybe there's not just one person that bites it.
Well, here's a fun fact. I haven't seen them.
You haven't seen that clip?
No.
Oh my God, Nate. Okay, number one, it doesn't reveal anything, and number two, we're playing it right now.
Okay, so I should just go on the iPad and play this shit.
We're gonna play it live right here on the podcast.
Cool.
You know, the censors and everything be damned. We're gonna play it right here.
I'm pulling it up now. What do I got to search, do you think, Brando? I mean,
I'm gonna go to the YouTube, and
you're
hopefully
going to fucking have it to me before I even can find it, is what you're about to say.
maybe, I don't know.
You are pretty fucking quick. I did call you Qui-Gon, by the way. I mean, you know, that's a pretty high honor. Trained by Yoda, trained fucking Obi-Wan, and a little bit of Anakin. Walking Dead. Season 7 trailer.
Well, see if there's one called Right Hand Man.
Got it. Official sneak peek. It's 3.5 minutes.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
I am going completely silent. I'm muting my mic. Tell me after we're back.
Okay.
So there.
All right, folks. Here we go.
Was the joke that bad? I'm gonna kill you. What? I didn't quite catch that. You're gonna have to speak up. Not today. Not tomorrow. But I'm gonna kill you. Simon, what do you have? A knife? He had a hatchet. A hatchet? An axe. Simon's my right-hand man. Having one of those is important. I mean, what do you have left without him? A whole lot of work. You have one? Maybe one of these fine people still breathing? Oh. Or did I? Sure. Yeah. Give me his axe. I'll be right back. Maybe Rick will be with me. And if not, well, we can just turn these people inside out, won't we? I mean, the ones that are left.
Okay, folks. I don't like that weird music at the end. I got to get Brando back in here. Unless
I am here.
Oh wow. Hey, what's up, dude? So I didn't really see anything in that would make me think that there were two anythings.
Okay, now they're thinking that. Now here are the rumors, big rumors, quotations, that it is Glenn. And when he starts beating Glenn, Abraham gets up. Then Abraham, they're thinking that maybe Abraham comes at him with the hatchet.
Really? Well.
And then Negan or somebody cuts him down. Boom, boom. That's the thought. That would be interesting because it would be a different play.
True.
Yes, okay, Glenn was picked. People are like, oh, what the hell? He picked him in the comics. But then it changes it, because Abraham didn't die earlier. He's here to be the man to stand up to Negan. And then he gets shut the fuck down. Because what did he say? What did Negan say? He will cut that shit out, no exceptions.
That's true.
Everybody stay down. And then he does. And see, it doesn't reveal anything. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe that's completely wrong. Maybe it is somebody. Honestly, people are saying that there's a blanket laying there on the ground.
Could be
So
Maggie.
maybe it's, well, who else had a blanket?
I don't remember.
Daryl.
Oh, yeah.
So there's thoughts and rumors that Daryl was taken prisoner. Again, these are all conjecture and rumors. We don't know. However, I want to praise this little sneak peek. They didn't have to release this. Jeffrey Dean Morgan again killing it as Negan.
Awesome.
I absolutely love his delivery. He even at there are rumors circling about like the scene starts with him saying, "What was the joke that bad?" Like there's conjecture that maybe he kills Glenn and said, "I never did like Chinese food anyway."
Oh.
Yeah. Don't know if that's true. Again, rumor. I mean, for all we know, he kills somebody else. Entirely. But when I love the little like face-to-face scene where Rick tells him that he's going to kill him. And then Negan's looking him in the eye and just says, Jesus, like, you're still not broken.
Yep.
and so then he's like, I got to do more. And then I love the way he says, hatchet.
Yeah. Do you think that when they go into the RV, again, speculation, we won't know for another 11 days. You think when they go in the RV, Negan just like is really calm and is like, dude, come on. Like, you're making me look really fucking bad in front of all these fucking people. I don't want to brain another one of your fucking people. So just step in line, man. Just stop being such a pain in my ass.
Now look, I'm gonna punch you in the face to make it look like we had a little fight in here.
Yeah, exactly.
You can go back and just tell them I roughed you up so much. We don't have to go through this. Well, see, there's also another side to this. That's kind of drove people nuts. Now, he mentioned right hand man.
Mm-hmm.
The scene is called Right Hand Man, the little thing on YouTube.
Yeah.
And he gets a hatchet.
Okay, what am I missing?
Governor, issue 28.
Ooh. Whoa.
As you piece it together.
Huh. Okay.
Either they do or they tease it.
Nah.
As a wink to the comic book.
All right, let them know what I'm thinking while I'm still thinking about this, because my brain. Now you got my brain going.
Well, the governor chops off Rick's right hand in issue 28. I believe it's 28.
You're correct. It is, yeah.
So, and it was basically Kirkman has said in the show, or on Talking Dead. That's one thing in the comic he actually regrets doing, because anytime he does anything action oriented with Rick, he's got to remember Rick didn't have a freaking right hand, so he's got to figure out a way out of it.
Man, wouldn't that just push it to the forefront, Brando?
And then with Rick on the show, I think he's right-handed. I'm pretty sure he is, but like, since that never happened in the show, because they've said how hard it would be to have the main character have a missing limb, how expensive it would be they always got to wear like a little green thing, and they got to edit it out, and maybe they could find a way to do like a prosthetic, or like get the little hook, and we can get by that. But or maybe do something like they did with Merle, because they did it with Merle. But
yeah, and I mean, the only other thing you could do is expedite him getting his hook hand.
Yeah.
I mean, just make that happen a fuck ton quicker than waiting till the time jump.
Well, see, I'm all for, since the governor in the television show is a much more interesting character than one in the comic book. Like in the comic book, he's just a monster. I mean, there's no other way around it. He's just a messed up monster who gets mutilated and wants revenge.
Yeah.
Like there's no iconography on the eye patch for the governor in the comics because of how much happens to him. In the show, that's the only major injury he had other than death.
True.
Was the eye. So honestly, you can just have Carl in the show get an eye patch as a callback to that character, and have that be a visual reminder of Rick to not let Carl go down that path. I for one would welcome, and because I think Carl, if I'm not mistaken, he has like gauze or something in right now, or he's got like a bandage. So having an eye patch wouldn't be all that difficult. Of course, in the comics, he gets like that little like sunglasses set up where he's got like the dark side covering, and then eventually he just leaves it open once that crazy chick licks it.
Lydia.
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm all for the eye patch for Rick. If they're going to the hilltop right after, you can just explain, "Oh, hey, we got this for you," and it's the hook. I, for one, would absolutely love it because, number one, okay, so the end of last season was the big dun dun dun, someone's gonna die. Then we come into this next season and say they do kill 2 people. Boom, boom. This guy gets up. No, fuck this. Boom, boom. And then carries on. And then Rick still, because the one thing is that I praise Andy Lincoln's acting at the end of last season because he just wore this face of absolute defeat and fear. And he gets that look in his eyes when shit hits the fan and he doesn't know what to do. And at this point, he's led his people to death, as far as he knows. And it's not walkers. It's people.
It's people.
It's people that they fucked with. And so I really like that coming out of the death, he is in complete fear until it happens. And then he is like shocked into pissed off Rick, knowing he can't do anything. He's shackled right now. He knows if he stands up, he's dead.
Yep.
So he's got that dark meanness back for a second. Like, I'm going to stand up and I'm going to kill you, but not today, not tomorrow. And then Negan's like, will you? Yeah, okay, sure, let's go. And then what if he cuts his hand off? You're gonna raise a hand to me, I'll cut it off.
Yep. Just
to
fucking shut you down.
It's like, what if, like, he raises the hatchet, brings it down, and right before you see the hand come off, it shoots to the outside, and you just hear Rick screaming, and everyone like shudders, like, oh my god, what's happening to Rick? And then like the door flings open, Rick falls out, and then he's like laying on the ground, and Negan's walking with Lucille bloody Lucille on his shoulder, the hatchet back in his belt or dropped to the ground or whatever, and then he just kind of like walks by the group and tosses the hand.
Ugh.
Like, he might need one of these,
I told you you'd need a right hand, man. You know?
Yep.
That would be. Damn, Brando. So let's get into this real quick and unbox it a little bit. Just throw a couple things your way. So season 7's on its way. We know that it's going to be Negan centric, I guess is the way to say that. But are there anything that they did in the comics in like from issue 100 to we'll say like 125 that you think they will get to this season?
It really depends because they could fast forward things a lot.
Yeah, there's
If
a
they
lot. Yeah.
if they wanted to, they really could. And it's a good chance that we get to All Out War by the start of the second half of the season. Because how they've been doing it is how they do 8 episodes is one story, another 8 is another story. Do I think All Out Wars is going to be condensed to 8 episodes?
No.
No. I think it's going to bleed over, and we'll get the second half of that next season, the first half. Walking Dead can sometimes go fast, and they'll go boom, 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 or they'll go, let's slow it down. Let's slow it down. Let's do character building.
Man, and when they slow it down, they fucking put the fucking brake on.
They do. There's a lot of characters to develop.
Because they're just like, fuck it. We're going to do one issue or one episode where all we focus on is Morgan and this dude. Yep. And we're going to grind it out. And, oh, by the way, that's like an hour. Wasn't that like one of the hour-and-a-half episodes?
Yes.
And it was great because it was different, but it wasn't like it was so slow is the difference,
Well, it definitely slowed that part of the season down because it had been so high octane. Because you had episode 2 that had the wolves attack and everything, so that episode really kind of slowed it down and brought it back. And I love the episode personally. A lot of people express their distaste for it, that like the slowdown, but I personally welcomed it. I was like, cool, I want to see this. Now next week, let's get back to it.
Yeah.
I understand, and I can appreciate the slow build. However, when you get like second half of season 4 slow build or walking to Washington D.C. slow build, it gets a little grinding.
God, so slow. It's weird though, because now we're at a point where I don't know that The Walking Dead could be slow, even if you paid it to be, because Negan doesn't let things go slow. Any issue, any episode involving Negan is a fast-paced son of a bitch, even if there's not a lot of resolve. Because he is so good with monologuing that it covers the time because you're being extremely entertaining. Okay, let me just say, yeah, Morgan's great. Lenny James is great. He does a monologue for 5.5 minutes, and I might cry myself to sleep. It's just slow. On the flip side, I'm more talking as him as Morgan, not him as an actor, by the way. Jeffrey Dean Morgan doing Negan monologuing for 5.5 minutes is ultimate joyousness because it's just going to be ridiculous outlandishness. And it's really, to me, this is really going to be interesting for people like you and I, Brando, because we're going to get to sit back and watch this season unfold. We have an idea of kind of the roadmap they could take if they wanted to. But we also know that there's immense character development with Negan. And he is a very pivotal character who shifts the whole tone of this series. So it's going to be fun to sit back and watch people really hate Negan for a long time. How many months are we going to hear people go, God, fuck this guy Negan, I can't wait for them to kill him. And then it's like, ha, that's not what they're going to do. At least I hope. That would be a real fucking bummer. They just off him before they go to the time jump. Oh, well, Negan's not a problem anymore. Rick decided to kill him. But I think that's a bigger thing, too, is that's the whole, that line being in the show. The whole, I'm going to kill you. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but I'm going to kill you. That line is literally just saying, hey, that's when I have the realization that I can't become you. And that's going to be the moment we look back on and go, he said he was going to kill him and he fucking didn't do it, And how we felt. And I think I'm excited. It's brilliant, Brando. It truly is.
It's good writing because when you get to like, because right now, because after that death, that whole scene that was shown to us, that was put out for us for sneak peek. That whole scene is going to come off of the death, and we're going to apparently be so pissed off that we're going to be right there with Rick. Yes, Rick, gather up your, kill him. We're going to be right behind him, and then it's going to get to the point of where, and I guarantee you, some people are going to be like, no, don't let him live. But then it's supposed to make you wake up,
Yeah, because the reality has become that while there are monsters in this universe, the real monsters are people. And you can easily get taken into the undercurrent of just being evil because there is anarchy. There is no law and order. Law and order is based on the fucking law and order of your group and however you decide to run things, And it's very easy to get manipulated into that almost power trip. And that is what Negan's whole character is kind of built off of, is he has this, he was narcissistic to begin with. Then he got the opportunity to fucking take control, and he knew how to just fucking step up and do what needed to be done regardless, totally regardless of if it mattered in the long run or not, because he would just get it done. He would go, okay, I gotta fucking kill this guy I don't want to kill this guy, but I'm gonna have to fucking kill this guy because I've got to teach this group a lesson, and that's the only way people are gonna learn is if they take me seriously. And that's what I think the viewers of The Walking Dead this season are gonna have to learn, is they're gonna have to figure out when whatever happens in the premiere happens, right then and there, that Negan is someone who is very serious. And then there's this beautiful undercurrent where they're going to be like, this guy's fucking serious. What the fucking fuck, and it's terrible. And they're going to be terrified and not sure how the season's going to play out for these characters. And then it's going to all change. And then they're going to start to be like, this Negan guy is not so bad. It's crazy how quick we forget what he did to Glenn in issue 100 when we're all the way at issue 159 going, no, you fucking killed Lucille, you son of a bitch. I don't think I was that mad when they killed Glenn. I'm just being honest right now. But that was all a whirlwind of reading. I had seen like 12 character deaths up until that point, I mean, God. Awesome. But to me there's I just want to say quickly, two things I want to see. I want to see the pool scene with Spencer. The pool table scene with Spencer and Negan. That will be kind of dope. I hope they do it. My guess is it's probably not going to be Spencer. It won't be that obvious. They'll swerve us with somebody else who's a minor shadow character who's not going to, be on screen for an extraordinarily long time. More Jesus. I'm excited to see the kingdom. Obviously, Ezekiel is coming with Shiva. Things are going to get a whole hell of a lot worse before they get better, Brando.
And they always seem to do so in The Walking Dead.
Yeah. So before we go here, did you see that picture that I mentioned that was like the last thing I said?
Yeah.
You did see it, okay. So I just wanted to mention that we got to see our first peek of Amber Heard as Mira in Justice League, not in Aquaman. So obviously she's going to play a little bit of the origin, getting him into the Justice League. She looks good. I mean, believable. And she doesn't really look like Amber Heard, even though it's her. I know that doesn't make sense to you, but I can only ever see her in Pineapple Express. And she was like 19 or 20 when she did that role. And she's just dainty and all like bubbly and stuff and has this really weird, thing going on. And then I see her in this movie and I'm like, damn, she mature and all like tough looking. Fuck. Like I would not cross paths with angry Amber Heard. No way. But yeah, I'm excited for Justice League, Brando. That's all I got on that one. I don't really have anything else to say about it other than Justice League. Fucking get here. Doctor Strange, fucking get here. God. November, get here already.
So that new Adam West Batman animated feature is coming out.
Yeah.
They've already announced a sequel.
What?
With Two-Face.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Who is Two-Face, though? They didn't have a Two-Face in the show.
They didn't. And I'm going to just make sure that I am going to look it up right here. Just to make sure that I did not read that wrong. because I don't want to sound like a dumbass.
And if he has this fact right, it's going to be mind-blowing, I'm sure, because that's why he's prepping it like this.
Well,
Just-
it's
just-
definitely interesting.
Just for the listenership, they weren't sure why you were double-checking so hard, because they're like, Journey into Comics, they don't care that much. We care. Hey, we care.
All right. Two-Face will be voiced by William Shatner.
What? That doesn't mean they're going to make Two-Face look like William Shatner, right?
Well, probably not, but they could, because I mean, they keep for the Return of the Cape Crusaders. I mean, they look kind of like the actors who portrayed them, you know.
Yeah.
However, it's like the debut of Two-Face for this universe, for the 66 universe, is interesting. And honestly, it's like I was not expecting them to take an overly
Violent?
serious or violent or dark take on it, because it's 66, you know. I mean, it's supposed to be bright, colorful, campy, and that's all I want that to be. I am looking forward to this animated feature because I used to watch the show like as a kid, and yes, it's silly, but this silly Batman can coexist with the dark Batman.
True.
There can be both universes going at once.
Multiverse is a real thing, my friend.
It is, and I am, Shatner is very capable of playing Harvey Dent, and I want to see it.
I mean, you know what they could do, too? It's not that hard to have an artist render a picture from, like, Shat's days back in the day when he was in Star Trek into making him look like the Two-Face from back then. You don't have to draw it with his current
definitely.
likeness.
Yeah, the old, like, kind of like, more
disheveled
stubby.
Shat. Yeah.
Disheveled Shat. I like that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I love Shatner, so
yeah, he's great.
When he's in stuff, it's always great to see him. So when I smiled when I saw that, because when it said Shatner to play Two-Face in sequel to Return of the Cape Crusaders, I said, of course, because that's like perfect casting almost. When you're thinking of that style, it's like, who are you gonna get? Oh, dude, Shatner's perfect.
Yeah, that's interesting. To mention casting real quick, I wanted to say this a few minutes ago, and then we kind of got off topic, and it just, Tangent City, it's easier to go backwards, and I don't know, it doesn't matter. We were talking about the wolves in Season 5 of The Walking Dead, and then even a little bit in Season 6 of The Walking Dead.
Mm-hmm.
The guy that captured Denise, or that, captured her and then saved her, the guy that Morgan didn't kill, right?
Yep.
Do you know what he is doing currently?
What is he doing?
He is Jarvis Tetch, a.k.a. Mad Hatter on Gotham.
Yeah, I can see it.
He is fucking creepily believable. And they just, introduced almost a meta superhuman element to Gotham by the blood of Jarvis Tetch's sister, who is just known as Alice. Interested to see where they go there, but her blood fell in somebody's eyeball, and then they started to, Hulk out and become all evil looking. So we might have
evil Alice.
Oh, I like that reference. That's very good. Awesome. Yeah, man. So now that we've kind of ended on a tangent here, is there anything else you have this week for JIC?
No, honestly, not much. I wanted to focus talking on The Walking Dead because it's getting ready to get up, and that's kind of the only comic that we really read and review right now. We could change that though.
True, we should.
I mean, sometimes it is difficult for us to get together, but hopefully that changes here soon, and we can try and get back together, and maybe we can do a review a week where we take a comic and try and follow that through and see what we think. Maybe we can pick a couple and whatnot and gotta go with it. Walking Dead will be in there, of course, but then, even if for example, if it comes out the same week as The Walking Dead, we won't do both of them. We'll just do one of them, and then the next episode we'll do the next one. And
I like that. I like that a lot, Brando. That's why you're on the show, because you have all the ideas. Just saying.
Oh, shit.
You're the ideas man, bro. All right. Well, if that's going to do it for this week of Journey into Comics, make sure you guys follow us on Facebook or like us on Facebook or whatever, Journey into Comics Podcast. You can go on Instagram at Journey into Comics. We don't post as much as we should, but we can get back into that. It's always kind of a thing where our Instagram falls out for a hot minute, and then we get back on it and post some cool shit. And there's lots of cool shit we could post. You make sure to get us on Twitter at JIC Podcast. You can also go to YouTube and search Journey into Comics. I believe now, actually, we have been authorized, and now I do believe if you go to youtube.com/Journey into Comics, it will take you to our homepage. Other than that, I don't really have anything. Not really. At some point in the near future, I'm going to talk about the premieres from CW stuff, guys, so make sure to check out that episode whenever it drops. I know Brando and I are going to get down on another podcast here in a few short minutes.
YouTube.
Go ahead.
I did. So I set up the YouTube where if you go to our YouTube and you go to the main page, I don't know if you noticed this, bro, but now every single one of our podcasts are available on the main page.
Whoa. I did not see that. I'll have to check that out after our shows are over.
I'm trying to log in because my computer hates me. Basically, guys, if you go to our YouTube channel, all of our latest videos or podcasts are up. But then right below that is the playlist for Journey to Comics, starting from episode 1, Repilot, all the way till now when this episode goes up. And then below that is another section that says check out our other shows where Game Addicts, Turning to Wrestling, and Foodies Watching Movies. The playlists are there. And Game Addicts and Wrestling have 9 videos apiece, and Foodies have 3. So all that stuff, you can get that all right there on the main page if that's where you want to do it. I will be doing a new YouTube video, maybe a couple of them here, maybe in the next week, I'm hoping. If it stays up to where I'm not working as much as I have been, I will definitely do it. YouTube is a hobby for me, so it's not a job. I don't stay on it. I do it when I have the time. So
ain't nobody trying to make you make that your job. We understand. I get it. At least I hope our listeners get it. That would suck if they're like, no, damn it, Brando, you're supposed to put out content every 2 days. Motherfucker.
Oh, gosh.
And spend your money to give us the content. I mean, at that point, Brando, you just break it down and you just, like, get 6 months worth of like, pickups and then just show 1 or 2 an episode. You know? Well, this week I picked up this one game. It was $4.99. Bullshit. That you got more than that, you know, whatever. But, all right, guys. Well, if that's going to do it, thank you for listening to episode 112 of Journey into Comics. As always, get us on iTunes. I forgot to tell people to go to our fucking iTunes, subscribe, give us a 5-star rating. Tell us why we're so fucking here. Because we're just here. We're hanging out and having a good time. We don't care. And with that, I am Nate.
I'm Brando.
For the oddest ending to an episode we've had in a long time, we'll see you guys later. Hi.